because
Where are you at? You're in the Northeast?
I'm in Nevada.
Oh, you're in Nevada.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm a hop, skip, and I'm about 5 hours away from.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of audience interaction, just like an open mic forum where people can come up and share.
Yeah.
And it's going to be pretty intimate. There's going to be 85 tickets. I think we're at about 30 already sold. We really haven't pushed it. And then another 15 people. We have a 100-person limit. So, but it's going to be all right. I think it's going to be real good, actually. I'd love to see you there. That'd be very cool. There's a lot of people are going. A lot of people in the community are going. I'm surprised. I know 2 that are coming from out of state, and one's coming from out of country.
No. Wow.
She said if she can get out of Australia, she's
international.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's great.
All right, we'll be right back with our brother Garret in just a second. I'm going to play the intro so we can allow people time to come in. Yeah, it's only been a minute. Be right back. We got our brother Garret in the house, and we were just chatting briefly beforehand. I said, "How you doing?" He said, "I'm doing pretty good." I said, "You look good. I don't know what kind of Kool-Aid you're drinking, but you look good." And I said, "Yeah, given all the wild, mixed up energies that are out there." And you said, "Yeah, you'd like to talk about that. What can you tell us about what's been going on and what's happening?"
It's good energy. Well, it's good Kool-Aid. Well, for me, it's good Kool-Aid. Todd, you know what? Most of my work right now has been in the dream and astral planes, which is very different for me because I'm used to just receiving like from the Akashic records. But my guides have had me in this 4-week upgrade coma, so to speak. And for me to feel energy, it takes a lot for me to feel, because over the years I've really kept my energy and vibration at a very high peak. And when this hit me, I was like, okay, what is going on here? I was sleeping 12 hours a day, eating very little food, and it was just, I was like, what's going on? So I just followed that. I followed it. But then in dream time, everything started to kick into dream time. They started talking to me about DNA and showing me things about DNA, and they were like, yeah, we want you to look at we want you to research the science aspect of it. I'm like going, oh my gosh, that's like way over my head. So I said, okay, so I'll do my best to move into that space. So I did a little bit of research, and then they started connecting me into other things that had to do with the DNA. And I was like, all right, what's going on here? So they connected me with Cryon's work. And Cryon sort of talks about these layers that we have. There's the multidimensional layers. And they're not the strands, but they're layers. And these layers are like these light frequencies. And I'm just now doing more research on it and putting things together with it. But yeah, so they're showing me all this DNA stuff, and I'm starting to read more information, and stuff's coming in through the astral planes and then in the dream time. And then all of a sudden, I'm having this one dream, and it's, those turnstiles where you walk through them. Yeah. Well, there was one where I was going through a turnstile, and they said, okay, place your token in the thing. And as I placed my token, somebody came out and they wrote a 9 on my hand. I'm like, okay. So I walked to the turnstile, woke up, and then here I am. I go, okay, so I'm dying of thirst, got up, went to get a drink, and on the clock it said 333 9. So completion. I said, okay,
Completion.
what is this? They were telling me that I just completed my ninth awakening of my ninth strands of my 9 strands. I'm like, okay, so this is where the DNA stuff is coming in. So what they're getting me to do is to learn more about this, and they're going to be guiding me on it to assist others to get to that point of awakening the DNA. Um, we can't we can't do it for them, for others, but we can do it for ourselves. So they're slowly moving me into this phase of this DNA stuff, and then they're moving me into all these other phases where one night, Todd, I was like, I'd never experienced this. All of a sudden, I'm laying there, and this energy, it looked like me, but it was an energy, and it went, it came forward. My intellect went like to the back, and this came forward. And they're telling me, this is your conscious now. You're now moving into a space of consciousness where you are going to be very aware. You're going to be aware of your thoughts, aware of your feelings, aware of everything in your surroundings. And so they guided me to, they said, when you get up, we want you to take an hour and just be aware of every movement you make so that you're in this now moment instead of thinking about, oh, what I've got to do today? I've got to do this, and then the future, past. And I started moving into this space. And without even realizing I was doing it, Todd, I was like looking at like how the water came out, watching my dog drink water, watching the ripples, and everything just became amplified. And I was like, and there was no thoughts. I had no thoughts about the past, the future, anything coming in. I was like, wow.
Mm.
That was like for about an hour. And they said, we want you to continue to practice this over and over. And I've been doing this for about a month now. Todd, I'm telling you, it's like my thoughts, I have to literally work at trying to bring my thoughts forward to try to like get to do work, because I'm doing Akashic master classes right now. So I have to literally pull myself into a space where I can actually move into that.
Yeah.
But what I find it is that it amplifies the work that I'm doing in there.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple things. One, this space you're talking about, and how it affects or what it looks like in our normal day when we're getting the things done that we need to get done, right? So I can relate to that because, you know, with the Soulogy Fest, there's been a lot of messages, a lot of unanswered messages. Plus, just doing these shows has gotten more challenging. But what I'm getting at is, what I've noticed is I'm like in this state of like what you're talking about, which is part of it is I'm not going to do it till I'm ready,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how long it takes, whether it be answering someone's message or whatever the case may be. And the other thing is, when it does come time to do it, it gets done really quick and it's over. But like you would think, oh, I'll go on to the next one. And I've been able to do that once or twice, but no, it just goes back to this I don't know, it's almost like a nothingness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it feels like. It was very strange but beautiful to be in that
Mm.
space, because it's like this, everything just is honed in. It's like when they say, you know, be very present. Be present in your present moment. And trying to move into that space of being present all the time and not having the thoughts come through. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is amazing. But yeah, like you said, even when doing work and stuff like that, I found myself, I've missed some classes, I've missed some schedulings and classes and stuff because I thought I had it on. I'm like,
Yeah, I know this.
did
It's
I?
and then you have days like last week we had a day, we had 3 shows, so they were like at 1, 3, and 5. I got before I got on the first show, the 3 o'clock canceled. So I get on the first show, and while I'm on the first show, somebody pops in for another show that has the wrong date. So anyway, they filled in that slot, and then somebody else didn't show up, or there was a time change, and someone from another day came into the studio and we did a show. But anyway, it ended up being like this whole thing of everything's perfect. There's no scheduling, this weird. So that was the second thing I was going to talk about with what you said was, so at the same time, because you've heard a lot of people talk about in March, more clarity, but also you've heard them talk about what the hell's going on. You know, I've heard people talking about like major drama, emotional drama, of course, the physical part, but it's like everything's been magnetized. I'm not magnet. Yeah, made bigger and magnified. And at the same time, you have more clarity. So you have these things being presented to you that are triggers, and yet you have more clarity. And I guess maybe that's one reason a lot of people have been spending time alone this month, because we're working out the bugs.
Yeah. And I think that's the best part. And obviously those triggers are the beautiful gifts that we get. But it's like, you know, even with triggers, when they come up, those triggers come up and they're very like, there's no sitting in it. There's no tension in the body. And there's just a relaxed state of just, I see this, beautiful, release, go.
Yeah.
And it's just, you're able to move. Yeah. You know, everything's shifting, even like on the physical, you know, during these past couple months, I've had I call them guardian, changing of the guardians. I had a changing of guides that came in to begin to assist me with the DNA and the Akashic records and stuff. And I had a friend that took me through a ceremony, and I went into the ceremony. They took me up these stairs, and I was in a space, and all of a sudden the guides that I were working with moved around the table. I sat with this being in the center, and the only thing that the being said to me, "Are you ready to accept your soul contract?" And I said, "Yes." And they could feel the vibration. You could feel the vibration happening, because I could actually feel if I was in that space of like, oh my God, no, what is it? What am I going to be doing? They just said, do you accept your soul contract? I said, yes. I got up and I started walking back down these stairs, and all the guides came forward, and my new guides came with me into the new space. So I think that part of this adjustment that I've been going through, the sleeping and everything, is readjusting to that energy field and that space and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, it's creating an assortment of pressures on our old normal. Like how we communicate, how we talk, how you get along in relationships, how you conduct business, or everything. And so it's a bit strange, but at the same time, you can feel the familiarity, you can feel the flow of it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are working through it.
Yeah. 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 And it's, you know, and that's one of the things that I've been working with when people have been coming to me for sessions and stuff, is to give them that through their records, just give them that higher perspective of where they are in this moment, because past, present, future is all collapses into this now. And my guides show me this. They're saying, just remember, whatever you're moving through right now is an overlay from something in a past life. It's just expressing itself in a new form. And so we're able to look in that space with them and to be able to help them to move through it, whether it's a lot of it's relationships, moving through family, especially the triggers in family. So being able to see the aspects of why you chose the family, why you came in, the triggers, everything else that come along with the process of it. But yeah, everybody seems to be moving, you know, and everybody's perfect where they are. You know, they're all in a beautiful space, and that when that triggers and those angers come up, that's a beautiful space to be in, because you just want to move through it and feel that process of it. But it's hard for some, because they don't know how to navigate it, and it makes it a challenge.
Morgan's got a question. Oh, there it is over there as well. Does he feel like a different person, and has it affected any of his relationships?
I do feel, well, I do feel different. You know what? There's this, I thought I was always very centered before, but now there is just this complete alignment. There's an alignment. And my relationships actually have actually been beautiful, more expansive. I don't have relationships or people coming into my experience that actually trigger me
Right.
or do anything. It's like this beautiful flow of energy. Like I've become the flow of it, and then all that happens around me begins to just come in and flow into my experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a complete alignment, and it's a beautiful space because I could be sitting around all day and not even worried about what I need to be doing or anything like
Right.
that, and just enjoy that space of being by myself
Right. Right. Yeah.
without any distractions or anything. And that's the other thing too. Distractions, literally, all distractions are just they've kind of gone off to the wayside.
Yeah.
Everything is just kind of just.
It's kind of weird too, because like bringing that up, I was checking several different websites, some mainstream media, just for the work that I do, just to see what's out there, some alt news sites. And I found a couple of things happen over the last couple of weeks. One is I can't go there, even if I want to. It's not like I got anything against it. I just like go to the page. I'm like, oh my God, this is same day, bigger stick to stir it with, right? I mean, same old shit. That, and then also the body. There's like the body's just saying, hey, it's speaking louder, I guess. And I'm not eating as much. I am sleeping a lot. I'm not sleeping for long periods of time, like 2 hours here, 4 hours there. But yeah, there's definitely been a really noticeable threshold, it seems, that we crossed at the equinox. On or about the equinox. What do you think?
Yeah, I believe so. Because like even with the distraction thing, okay, we have this new energy coming in. We've got this portal opening up. We've got the moon cycles, we've got this and that, and none of it's to me it becomes a distraction for me to even try to, because then when you're in that space of, okay, well, the energy's coming in, this is what you may experience, and then all of a sudden others may begin to experience it because they're reading what somebody has written about what the experience may happen, and so they get triggered by it.
Yeah.
But when the energy comes in, it's like it doesn't affect me when I first started. And now when the full moon comes and the energies come in or portals open up, my energy is just open and right to it. And it just filters into the space.
Yeah.
And then there's some things I may have to adjust to it. Maybe my eating habits change. And that's the biggest thing that I can say that I experience that's actually different.
Well, I noticed because for me, it started around the 12th or 13th. Morgan's kind of like a cosmic weather vane. So she brought it in early, and I knew, because I've been through, we've been, living together for quite a while. And of course, just even beforehand, when we were virtual, she would say something's coming, da 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 da. So I was kind of on my toes, and then it hit over about a 3-day period. And since that time, to me, it's like, if I look at it, it's kind of like, oh, all the words are going away. Like what you were saying earlier about when you had that, and it came to the front, and and the normal conscious voice went to the back, right? So it's like that. It's like something flipped so hugely that it had this real effect on our moment by moment existence, right? Several people have come on in the last couple of weeks and said, like, what am I doing here? Who am I? Why do I even need to do this work I do every day? That kind of bare bones moment when, you're literally nothing.
Yeah, we're trying to, and a lot of us are beginning to move into that space of surrender, literally surrendering it all. I remember when I first got into that point, when I stepped into my work full time, that I had to fully embrace the surrender. You get to the point where I don't care if I'm homeless. I don't
Yeah.
care if money comes in. I don't
Yeah.
care if I don't have food. And that's the point where the universe goes, okay, you're ready. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead. Let's go ahead and show you. Let's fucking wow you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna wow you now and show you how beautiful and perfect and balanced you are to move and create in this experience. And Todd, it's just been like this,
Yeah.
just upward,
Yeah.
upward, upward. Yeah, it's been beautiful. Yeah, the consciousness thing was the most profound thing for me this past several months, because I didn't know what was going on in the dream time, and then before I woke up, they just said take an hour every day and just be aware,
Yeah.
stay in that space of awareness.
I was going to ask you about that. There was a couple of years we've all had those when we know we're busy in dream state. And a couple of years it was really intense. I used to get this red rash right here in the middle of my third eye. I got it now, and it's been coming back and forth. I have been drinking a lot more water the last couple of weeks, more than I usually even drink, and that's made it easier. But I've been asking, can I remember? Can I have more recall in my dream state? Because I know I'm busy. I can tell I've been busy as hell all this past month. And today was the first day it kind of came in a little bit. But when you were talking about how you started doing all this work in dream state a couple of weeks ago, it just kind of brought it back up. So do you have much recall with the work that you're doing in dream state?
Of course, the dream states, they're always showing you with symbols and things that don't make any sense, and we're always trying to figure out what it is. So they always tell me, don't figure it out. The answer and the information is going to come to you.
Okay.
So what they're doing is and it's also a part of remembering my divinity in this alignment of being in this human vessel, and yet being able to be a master in the space of just being in that space, and not so be in this world but not of it.
Right.
And you're still moving around in the world and everything. And you know it's been amazing, and it's been just slightly challenging to kind of rebalance and reformulate what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And I guess I am in a space of remembering. I'm remembering, holy crap, okay, I've done this many, many lifetimes.
Yeah.
And now I'm in a space now where I'm actually consciously
Yeah.
aware of my divinity, my sovereignty,
Yes.
my
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And then you have the human aspect, which seems to be front and center uh, of whatever this is, and there's also with this axis flip from intellect to intelligence,
Mm.
right, to feeling, like you were talking about, and there's like, for me, there's always been like two voices, primary voices. There's been what I would say was Todd, and then has been this other voice.
Mm.
And I've noticed how this conversation or dialogue has evolved. But over the last couple of weeks, it's very similar to what you said. It's like that voice that we've heard so much of the time has stepped back,
Mm.
and it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like going, okay, what's going on here? I'm just going to sit back, and I'm just going to follow the lead, follow the guidance, which doesn't seem to be embodying to some degree now. But it's a little bit weird because the human has certain thoughts or rationales that they should walk this direction or that direction, and yet the guidance is saying,
Yeah,
stay with.
it's the story, it's the storytelling that we keep. It's the stories that keep coming up, and we drift off, and we start going into our past, or we have to think about, oh, I've got to pay this bill or something, and then the stories comes in, and the story kicks in for the future. How am I going to do this? What am I going to do? How am I going to, and it's the storytelling that keeps. It's the hamster wheel. We keep moving on that hamster wheel, and so that's what's been the shift for me is there's no storytelling.
Right.
There is no storytelling whatsoever, and it's such a beautiful thing, because now I'm able to feel through everything,
Yeah.
versus trying to think my way through it. Like I want, like at the end in next month or so, I would like to. I'm in the process of getting a minivan, and I want to take my work on the road.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anyone sees me out there with a sign that says "I'll do energy work for food," just go ahead and stop over
Yeah.
and pick me up. No, but see, my mind is I've set the creation, but I'm not in that space, and all of a sudden, all this information about minivans and converting them and doing all this stuff kind of just flows into my experience. But I'm not like anxious about it. There's like a beautiful flow to it, and it's like, you know what? It's going to take care of itself. It's already done. It's going to take care of itself. And I'm just going to be the flow into that space when it's ready.
One of the things that I've struggled with has been when I hear people say, and this is my problem, it's not their problem. When I hear them say that this is already done. Energetically, it's already done, and we're just playing it out. But in the last couple of weeks, that's taken a new meaning for me, because I've always known, as we all know, that it happens in the energetic field first, and then it manifests. But something's different now. It's like happening, literally becoming instant manifestation. And so it's, I get what you're saying. It's like, if I look at some of the things I've downloaded over the years and what's happening now, I can see that it's going down, not just for, Todd's, life, your life, but it has a collective feel to it. And what you were talking about, the stories, whether they be stories from the past or our stories that we build in our mind of how am I going to get from point A to point B, there's something about that, that you said, that stuff's not sticking anymore. Like I was saying about going to read the headlines on CNN, it just doesn't, it won't work anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's certain things just falling away and there's no fight to it.
Yeah, that's the beauty. That's the beauty. My guides always said, Garret, you don't know what you need. You think you do, but you don't. Just surrender to it and allow us to show you how everything will just flow into your experience. And that was the hardest part of moving into that space, because we're always in control. We want to be in control of everything, and we're not.
Yeah.
And so when you can surrender and release that and let it go, when you're ready to just, and you will know vibrationally, you will feel it. You'll be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm ready to complete this journey and move forward and become the flow of it. And you'll feel that it'll be like this power within you. It'll be a power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to give up control to be in control.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And to me, this is like a point past surrender now. Like it's beyond surrender. I don't know what the word is for it.
You know what? That's a good way to put it. What is the word? What is that word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so many words. It's grace, and it's gratitude, and it's creation, creator type of energy, and of course peace, and just a stronger wisdom, and I think a lot of these attributes of the soul that truly are what our natural nature is. Some of this too, and I guess that's what's happening. When you look at self-love and the work that people have done on themselves, but we're going to own these terms about ourselves. There's a lot of over modesty in the circles we run in, and we can all understand why. But I mean, these are things that we are, and I think the universe is saying, own it.
Yeah. And a lot of us are afraid to own it because we don't know how. That's part of the problem, is we don't know how to do it. And if you can get with somebody who can assist, and you know what, it's all right here. It's just this is what just stops us. There's too many stories and too much going on in this space that just keeps us in fear and entanglement, and stops us from, it's like when I was, we're in a full bloom here in Nevada. And over the past 3 years, actually my guide said to me, because we have a tree of mulberry trees, very highly toxic for me. I was in the hospital all the time. I'd had drugs pumped into me. Literally, my lungs would fill up with fluid. I couldn't even breathe. And every time those mulberry trees, and I'm in a community where there's hundreds of them, so it's like intoxicating. And so my guy, they started blooming, and I went in my head, and I said, "Okay, all right, here it comes." And my guide said a couple of years ago, they said, "Connect with the tree. Don't push it away. Connect with the tree. Don't get in your head about what it is." And what they showed me was that my DNA that I've been working on for years now, that I didn't even realize, where now I'm at now I'm at the awakening of the the 9 DNA day strands. And they said, "Why do you think you don't have your allergies anymore?" I have zero allergies. I can go outside and I can play in the pollen of those trees and have no effect whatsoever. Even in, like, I had a hip a challenge about 2 years ago, and I went to the doctors and they said, "You're going to have surgery." And I asked my guys, I said, "Okay, if I have to have surgery, then so it shall be. But if I don't, then show me a sign." And they showed me a beautiful sign where I ended up not going to surgery, and I literally removed the pain from my hip area. And they said, how do you think you removed the pain from your hip area?" Because my endocrine system has now pulled in this DNA, the energy from this DNA layers and strands, and they just said, "Get out of your head about that old stuff.
Yeah.
It's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It's not there." And you have proof now. You have shown your physical vessel proof of the power of your energy and healing abilities.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is obviously this is where we're all going. I've
Yeah.
heard a lot of people talk about recovery, some more dramatic seemingly than others. I mean, I had back pain, chronic back pain for 12 years. And every, I don't know, every week probably, I'll stop and go, wow, I should be, I had 20% muscular atrophy in the lower back. I mean, there should be something going on there, but I've noticed that it feels that the body's regenerating, maybe not as fast as, we might want it to, but
it's because we're so dense.
yeah. But I mean, I think this is part of it too. And another thing I think you bring up too, which is great, however you do it, it seems like there's a direct relationship between what we call zero pointing or shadow work, taking everything into ourselves, not externalizing anything. There seems to be a direct relationship between the higher alignment we achieve through those processes and the conversion of our DNA. And as a result of that, there's all these aspects of us that change energetically, like from the memory of a trauma to a physical condition to how we see ourselves. And this is all, to me, part of what just got really super saturated into the Earth's field this past 30 days.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's as we move through our ascension, our body starts to vibrate so differently. And then as your consciousness begins to expand, all right, the physical body has to respond to that. It has to respond to that. And then that's when healing can take place. When we're in that lower vibration of fear, judgment, anger, the body has to respond in that way. And that's when we close in and we pull all that stuff in there. Some of it's very, very subtle. We don't realize where it's coming from. But as we do the work and we start ascending and doing the work, it starts. And I think that I attribute that to the work that I've done over the past 6 years to that point. They just finally showed me the work that I've done and what it has actually energetically, vibrationally, and physically has done for me. And so now they're in the point now, okay, now we're going to get you out of your head and into your now moments every moment of the day.
There you go.
Yeah, I said yes. Let's do it.
So, and like I said, you're one of several people that's brought up DNA. Now, people have been talking about DNA, since I came online a few years ago, but not to the extent, not to the level of meaning that I've picked up on in the last month. And that's pretty important. I think there's something to that. And then also, you're the second person today out of two shows that's mentioned the ninth dimension, talking about, this is where they're pulling, basically just a different way that she said it, but they're pulling healing energies from the ninth, whatever, dimension or whatever you want to refer to it as.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody's gonna evolve at their own pace, but yeah. So I'm hoping I'm starting to put together some stuff now so that I can assist people in awakening the 12 layers, and then reprogramming or recoding. They're telling me recoding the DNA so that it can awaken itself and be able to utilize that in our mastery.
Yeah.
Because when Jesus came in, Jesus had full blown everything. He was in full DNA mode and everything, and he had it all. But we come.
Well, he had Mary Magdalene too.
He did. Yeah, that's true.
I have a feeling there was an equal proposition there. So you're talking about your sessions. You tap into the Akashic. We talked about this last time.
Yeah.
And you were describing some of the things that you discover with the client, which is, lineage and, soul contracts and why you planted yourself in this specific family and so on. And I've heard that from others. My question is, I would think that everything is expanding or shrinking if it's not based on like a Trinity energy. But I would think that that's occurring as well in private sessions. So my question will go to, like, what are people coming in with now that know their lineage, that, kind of, at a certain point of awakening where they're in the same space that you're describing, which is these skills and abilities are coming online, physical regeneration and things like that. What are they looking for? What are those type of people wanting to get assistance with?
A lot of the clients that come to me, they're searching for information that's going to help them to make new choices, to take them to the next level for themselves. And a lot of it has to do with the family units that they're in, relationships that they're in. A lot of it is on personal growth as well, trying to see where they fit in and how they're going to move through their experience, and what's the next level for them. One of the things that I learned in the records over the past couple of months, and I was like, what? They said karma is an old energy system. It no longer exists in the fifth dimensional space. So if you're moving into the fifth dimensional space, remove the word karma from your vocabulary. And we can release this when we are ready and prepared. You will know when you're ready to release this from your experience, the karmic experience. So they just said, release that. Attachments.
Yeah.
Imprints. All types of soul facets, things like that. It's becoming very, very old system. Even the words we use now.
Like, how about healing and forgiveness?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's like this new level there's this like level that's starting to come up where when you're moving into that 4D, 5D space, and you're in that space for periods of time, that those things, they can't exist there. They can't exist there anymore.
Yeah. I think it's like uncovering, like, a lot of times we think about our major issues being these big traumas or these really bad habits, or, but I think like what you're talking about, one of the other characteristics of it might be that we're finding out at a very deep level what our prejudices are and our biases. And I'm talking about things that would seem like, nothing major. Mm-hmm. It's not like a world issue or necessarily a huge family issue, or, but just the little things. It's almost like, we've kind of swept through the big ones, and now it's getting down to the little nuances of our experience, which is how we relate, how we conduct ourselves, and that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and even like when people are, when you're scrolling through Facebook and you're looking at things and something kind of triggers you, something that might be judgmental or something,
Mm.
kind of move through it, because I'll see myself move through that, and I'll click into it, like the trigger will click in, but then it triggers out, and then all of a sudden there's a energy of compassion that comes through.
Mm.
Something what the old me would have said, oh my God, look at the way she looks. Oh my God, or whatever, something really ridiculous that's in this 3D, but now it's like we're moving through that space. We're moving through that.
Yeah.
There's more compassion that's
Yeah.
being pulled into the energy field, which is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Well, I think that's one of the byproducts of it's never them, it's always me.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I did a post a couple of weeks ago, and no, I did a show, and the guest was pretty volatile on the show, but I didn't have a problem with it, and I got quite a few messages, and somebody said, "Well, this time it is them, it's not me," and they were making reference to because I've said that a few times on the show. Morgan introduced me to it years ago, but I do think that we're doing that, and I've been saying that it feels like there's a bit of an automatic pilot, like what you said earlier about your conversation with your higher self, basically your team, and they said you don't even know. What did they say? You don't even know
What you
what
need.
you need.
What you need.
Yeah, you don't know what you need. And to me, when I listened to what you said, whatever it was, I can't speak it verbatim, but basically, hey, the handoff has been made. The ship is going the right direction. Everything's cool, and try to relax.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's the human part of us, which has been the real workhorse, is I think in a way being honored. Is being honored, and the biggest honor of it is the experience that we have as a human while we're still in the body. I think it's going to be amazing what occurs. I really do.
Yeah,
and
you know what? Oh, I've actually really embraced, because I was always like with the body, and when you're first starting out, you're like, oh, the physical vessel, and you're trying to be very spiritual, and you're up there in the space. And my guides have pulled me into my physical body completely. They're like, no, you came here for the experience. You be in the physical body, and let us do the rest, and you will feel and experience us, the energy, the frequency, the vibrations, your team of guides, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're going to feel them more when you're in this body, and that's what it's been a beautiful space for me, because I'm able to actually experience my body and love myself even more in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be another thing too, is this, and again, to me, some of this feels like it's on automatic pilot, and maybe that's due to the work we did energetically prior on the linear timeline, but that is sacredness. Like I'm seeing things, and that's the best way I could describe it. And I'm seeing the sanctity, the sacredness, like I hadn't before. But I guess everything's being enhanced.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's being enhanced. Like even me watching the dog drink water. Who sits there and watches their dog drink water? It amazed me, because I was watching every movement. Everything is enhanced. Everything's enhanced. Even food becomes enhanced when I start, so yeah, it's beautiful. Those trees, those mulberry trees, I'm in love with the mulberry trees now. They're blooming now. All that stuff's coming off, but the enhancement of watching it, the leaves starting to come out from it, the experience of that, I've never had that experience before, to be able to just sit and feel that experience. not so much look at it, but I feel the experience
Yeah.
of that happening. Yeah.
Yeah. And something else happened too. And I'm only bringing this stuff up because to me, it all seems new.
Mm.
And I would think that it's happening to other people. But and maybe it was just me on my journey getting to a certain point, but it was like, you know how they talk about putting yourself in someone else's shoes?
Hmm.
Um, and then you can also look at, you know, like stepping into somebody's field,
Mm.
which is almost like a, hey, man, you need to ask permission kind of thing.
Mm.
But this would be more like stepping in someone's shoes. So, like, I was working on myself, pulling people up, and then I was able to, like I've never before, you know, actually step into their shoes, not into their soul, not into their no violation or anything, but be able to see what their journey was, where they were coming from, and why this or that might be what it is.
Mm.
And I thought, wow, and I did it several times, and I thought, wow, this is new for me anyway. I don't know. It just made a pretty big impression.
Were you feel like, what were you experiencing? Was it like was it like just a knowing or a
It
feeling
was
or?
it would be like no, it was very much a feeling, and I guess the knowing came with it, but it was very much a feeling. It was information,
Mm.
but I was able to how do you say this? I was able to totally understand their life. Now, not like if you
Mm.
said, hey, write a book about one of the people you pulled up, I wouldn't be able to do it. But I would be able to somehow, I don't know how, express the frequency or the compilation of frequencies that make up that person's vibration. Like
Mm.
their story, their lineage,
Mm.
both this incarnation, other. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I was I'll tell you what it did, which is the most important thing. It created a 0 point field.
Mm.
I was able to reach a place where I held myself in the same light and vice versa. And there
Nice.
was no BS. It was just like, you
Nice.
know,
It's
like
like
a,
you were reading the story of the field and just
no, yeah, like it could be like a feel, but it was just, you know, I just consciously
yeah,
said, I wonder what their experience was like. And I don't even remember how it happened, but it just
yeah,
happened. So I tried it
yeah,
again. I tried it again. I think this is the thing about this type of period. It's a great time to do work on
yeah,
yourself, you know, look for things.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It is. It is. I always thought, you think you're at one level, and then all of a sudden, just like me, it took me 6 years to get to that point of where they went, okay, now you're ready. Here comes some new guides. Here comes some new energy. You're going to sleep for 12 and a half hours a day and then nap in between. And I'm like, I have not experienced that in 6 years of doing this work. But now, whoo,
Yeah.
the release, it's like it's the release of this,
Yeah.
the release of the mind.
Or yeah.
It's a release of the mind and into the heart, because now it's like I'm moving through my life through my heart space, because everything becomes a feeling for me.
Yeah.
What do I feel about this? How do I feel about this? What's the feeling and energy that I'm moving forward this, trying to intellectually go, I need to go A to Z in order
Yeah.
to do this or to
Yeah.
get this.
Or more likely for many of us, how's that going to happen? I don't see how that's
Yeah.
going to work. How am I going to pull all this together? Uh, yeah, it's also, I think, been a very humbling month in March, and also a very uh, I said a minute ago, it's probably a good time to go look for things to bring yourself into higher alignment, but I don't think that we even have to look because everything's being presented to us constantly.
Yeah, allowing it to, you know what? I've allowed things to come to you. Let them
Yeah,
come to
yeah,
you, because when we go searching, that's when we get confused. Well, so and so. Well, I'm reading
yeah,
this and that, and it gets very, very confusing. And I've been there. I know. I've been through
yeah,
going through all that stuff until I finally just said, I'm tired of trying to figure this out. What's
yeah.
next? What's spirituality thing? It just became too much, and that was a surrender.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of more exchanges, like with what you described a second ago. I'll go back to it. And I'm saying this from like a metaphoric or an energetic standpoint. So you were talking about how your team was telling you in regard to your hip, don't go there. That doesn't exist anymore. That's not part of the operating program anymore. I think we're going to all be receiving more and more of that. I think we have, and I think we're going to be receiving more and more of that. And I've been saying this for a long time. Like at some point, I can see where we would have to totally detach physically, consciously from everything 3D to include auto insurance, to, borders. I mean, we're talking about all these things are a part of this 3D realm, to include geography, to include, even gravity. I mean, we don't know how far this goes.
Yeah.
But as long as we hold on to the constructs, which is not done by, oh, I believe in auto insurance. It's more like, I believe this is the way it has to be done. It's going to stay there until we pull back from it. And I think people already are, both consciously and just through what you might call circumstances and consequences.
Yeah. And even when we have to move into that space, it's going to be a space of allowing and just allowing, okay, because I'm going to need insurance for my minivan.
Mm-hmm.
So am I thinking about it right now? No, it'll just take its form when it's time.
Right.
And just keep moving through it. Yeah. I mean, with everything that's going on in the world and stuff, a lot of this doesn't exist for me because I don't place myself in that space with it.
Yeah.
And it's freedom.
Yeah,
Freedom
exactly. Yeah,
the
liberation quotient has gone up. It has. You see people doing it, and they might even do it in a shadowed way or a projecting way, but you see people standing up for themselves, right? Yeah. It used to be a whole lot of standing up for others, like wounded archetype, and there's you still see that out there.
Yeah.
But you're seeing a lot of people take a stand.
Yeah. Stand in their power.
Yeah. Which is very cool. A lot of women. Women.
Yeah. That's the beauty. I mean, without the feminine, us males, we need them to
have to.
They're accelerating us,
Yeah. Have to.
I mean, I'm blessed. I came in with both divine masculine and feminine, which was beautiful. I didn't have to work through all of that, which I'm very blessed. And I would have never known that years ago. But today I see why I came in this way and how I flowed through it, and everything just went matched right up. It was beautiful.
How do you, you said that you had a crew that had been with you a while, and then you went through this a couple of weeks ago, and you've got a new team. Do you have any feel for the energy of that team? I mean, do they have any specific characteristics or lineage, or is it just an energy that you're communing with, clearly?
It's definitely a new energy. And for me, I don't try to figure it out because if I try to, what are their names? Who are they? Whatever. Because my guides always say, my dear, we are energy, frequency, and vibration. If you would like to know our names, you will have to tone it. And so one of my guides, because there's in these DNA layers that they have, there's our angelic names. There's 2 layers that have our angelic names. And me, here I am, 3D human. I go, well, what's my angelic name? What is it? I'm like, what is? Oh, I want to know what it is.
When is that going to go away?
And they said, okay, we'll spell it for you. And so they spelled it out for me, and they said, now we want you to tone that. All right. So one of my angelic names is Mo. Now, if you take your hands and place them over your ears, and even by using even if you do the Om tone and place it over your ears, you'll feel that vibration in your physical body. Really go Om.
Yeah.
You can feel everything vibrate. So so they told me, said, sorry, dude, we can let you tone it, but there's no names for this.
Yeah.
So, and they'll do that. Like some clients will come in and they'll want to know the names of their guides, and if it's appropriate, they'll bring a name through. They said a lot of times they'll say, "What name do you want?" Give us a name and we'll take it. But a lot of times they'll come in with a frequency, and I can tone the frequency for my client, and have them get used to that tone. But yeah, it's the energy that came into them is definitely different because they knocked me down on my ass and I was down for the count. And I'm letting it ride because they're moving me into this new space of this the assisting with the DNA and moving people into higher spaces and energy with the bioenergy field and stuff like that. So yeah, again, I'm not trying to force it. I'm not trying, oh, what's next? How do I do it? I got to, because a lot of times they'll sit down and I'm like, oh, I should probably be doing something. And they're like, why?
Yeah.
You already know this. You're going to remember this
Yeah.
as you move through this.
Yeah. And that feeling of, I've done this before, like
Yeah.
thousands and tens of thousands, if not more, millions of times, whatever. I've gotten, I think we've all gotten that off and on, but to me, it feels stronger the last couple of months.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's
Yeah,
good.
it is.
Everything's just been, you know, and you know, I don't push for clients anymore. At the universe, they bring everybody to me, and it's like I have to surrender to that, and just the joy and the love of that, of having those people come into my presence is a beautiful thing. And the people all over the world, and I have no idea where they come from, but they're just like, they seem to just kind of click in and connect and always have a beautiful experience. Yeah,
it's happening.
Yeah.
It's the universe reconnecting to itself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do people get in touch with you if they want to do a session or find out more about you?
They can they can connect to me through my website, which is One Soul Healing. You spell out one Soul Healing at .com, and they can connect there. I have all my energy systems in there. I'm actually doing. Beginning of the year, I opened an Akashic Records masterclass, so I'm assisting others to learn how to navigate and move and connect into their Akashic Records. So that's been beautiful.
So, and what would the benefit be for them to connect to their Akashic?
Because they can begin to remember.
Yeah. Oh, so that's the main. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know if it was
help navigate them navigate themselves where they are.
So basically, it's a method of opening code within them or memories, however you want to put it.
Absolutely.
Which, very cool.
Yeah, helping them to open up to their knowing, their remembering, and also for them to help navigate their experience where they are now.
Yeah.
To find higher, what it does is it helps you to get a higher perspective on where you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it, who's come into your the what they call the karmatic family and stuff like that, and why you're in that space. So yeah, it's been beautiful. I've had 3 months now, and everybody's just been doing beautiful in it. So
far out. Yeah. Well, everyone I know that works with you speaks very, very highly of you and what you do. So more power to you. I look forward to getting together with you again. I hope to see you in Sedona. That would be cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get there. I'm gonna try to get there.
That'd be cool.
I'd like to have my minivan. I can pull up in it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Camp out and then come hang out.
Yeah, let me just make a note real quick.
Yeah, when I saw you were going to be in Sedona, I was like, oh my God, that's a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah, it is. It's not far at all.
Yeah, my friend, the house that I live in, my friend, he wants to sell this house. He wants to move to the Black Hills in South Dakota. So I'm going to go up there with him for a while and check out properties with him and stuff. But
that's a powerful place.
Yeah, he's like,
I wouldn't want to be there in the winter time though.
Yeah, that's what I hear. It's kind of,
it's a blizzard, man.
I guess he's in a space where he can have that summer home, and then a winter home.
Well, South Dakota is not like North Dakota. It's not like super bad. We just had a friend that stayed there. She's been there like 8 months. I forget where she's at in South Dakota. Man, I look forward to collaborating with you again, everybody. I put up the website on all the platforms. That's one, what was it? One Healing?
One Soul Healing. Yep. Oh yeah, you
OneSoulHealing.com.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah, there it
I,
is.
I think I'll
Yeah,
put.
so you guys reach out to Garrett. It sounds like he's about to be on the move, and he might be able to.
Yeah, I'm going to do my work in the field. So
There
it's
you
going to be
go.
a beautiful thing in the woods, in the forest, in the space, in the energy, in love.
There you go. Thank you, Garrett.
All
I
right,
love
brother.
you.
Thank you so much. Love you
You
too.